Changes to law will give the police license to kill, UK rights groups have warned. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that changes to laws will give the police license to kill, US rights groups have warned. The review into accountability is soon to report as police seek greater protection from prosecution over the use of force. So there's a catch-22 in this situation in which the police are saying that they need this because they're being prosecuted for mistakes that they make. And police do make mistakes, let's be very clear about that. There are also cases where the police do go too far. Obviously, body cams, I think, is one of the biggest benefactors of whether a police officer is lawfully or unlawfully doing their job. Now, this premise of giving police license to kill, my understanding in context is a case of, obviously, they should only have to use lethal force when their life is in danger. That should be the only context of when they should be using that. There should be no other context of when they should have to use lethal force as basically as the standard bearing goes as a last resort. Now, the police already have a lot of powers as it is. They've been given a lot of powers, especially by the Conservative Party. And we know that Labour have not rolled back. I don't think they've rolled back on any policies or laws by the Conservatives since they've come to power. And obviously rights groups and protesters in particular, you know, they're having a very hard time being able to speak their minds about very important issues because of the powers that the police have. It's a very difficult time. And I probably do favour the rights groups here because obviously there should not be a situation. I just don't see situations where it needs to be, they need to have the license to kill unless their life is in danger. And that should be the only time where I can see it. But apart from that, there should be no other reason for them to have that. I know there's all sorts of cases and all sorts of reasons why some people may be in favour of it. I personally don't think it's the case. Me personally. So police want changes to the law, giving them a license to kill. So leading rights groups have warned as the government prepares to give officers new protections from prosecution. So a government order review into police accountability is expected to report within weeks. And it follows fear of a walkout by angry armed officers in London after a police marksman, Martin Blake, was tried for murder over the shooting of Chris Baber. Blake was acquitted in October by a jury of 3 in 3 hours. Police say they want the system to be fairer and protect officers who use force as part of their duties. The rights group believe the system holding police to account is already too weak, and dealing it would undermine public trust. And public trust is already low between the police and the public already. In a letter seen by the Guardian groups, including Inquest, the Centre for Women's Justice, Liberty and Black Lives Matter, warned the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper against weakening police accountability. This review is less of a knee-jerk reaction, but rather a dangerous and calculated attempt to use a high-profile case to push for less scrutiny and accountability of police actions, they said. The number of cases where police officers are prosecuted for a death is vanishingly small. Since the 1990s, there has only ever been one successful prosecution of an officer for manslaughter and none for murder. So there you have it. It's the only time we've ever had it is back in 1990, and the police are asking for more powers. Yeah, I was very sceptical at the beginning. 2023-2024 saw a 10% increase in police use of force and the highest figure of police-related deaths for nearly a decade. Our work has exposed disturbing levels of neglect, violence and excessive use by force by police officers, particularly in cases involving black and radicalised people. The institutional impunity afforded the police at an individual and corporate level indicates that most cases that police officers remain above the law. Most cases. But not everyone, and we know that. Inquest says that since 1990 there's been about 1,915 deaths after police custody or contact. Later this year, some new laws will be introduced to give autonomy to firearm officers who shoot someone unless they are convicted. Within weeks, a review conducted by the former judge and former senior Scotland Yard chief will report. He is looking at whether it should be made harder for inquests to find police and lawfully killing someone. He is also examining whether it makes it harder to disapprove an officer's claim of self-defense in misconduct inquiries by changing the standard of proof to the highest criminal test of beyond reasonable doubt, rather than the current civil test in which is on balance of probabilities. Susan Alexander, whose son Al-Roddy was shot dead by police in 2005 while on her way to rob a rival drug gang, said, "Seeing the police and their representatives now once invest the energy to try and weaken the ways in which we can hold them accountable is an insult." Excuse me. Instead, imagine how many lives could be saved and families spared if they focus on implementing changes and listening to us families rather than continuing to shut us out. This is one of the big issues that I agree with here. Sometimes there's not enough talk, and most things lead to actions. Deborah Coles, the director of inquest, said, "This review is a senile attempt to shield the police from accountability and protect them from the rule of law. Police should not have a license to kill." Excuse me. The changes they would want in effort give them one. The government believes it faces the blanket act of ensuring officers have the confidence to use their powers while also reassuring the public that police are not above the law. The Home Office was asked to comment. It's a very difficult situation, that is for sure. The police don't need these. Let's be clear, the police don't actually need these. They really don't. They've got enough powers as it is. They've been given lots of powers by the bloody Conservatives over 14 goddamn years. So, I don't agree, excuse me. I don't agree with the police on this. I think, and while I also know that the police haven't exactly been in our good books for quite a while, there have been rare times where I have praised them on this channel for the work that they do. But there are times where they have, I've also been very critical of them, and rightfully so, for some of the stories and news that we hear about them, and some of the things that the way that police officers conduct themselves. The Metropolitan Police obviously being one of the worst of them all. Then this needs to stop, and they need to work with what they got, because they have more than enough to deal with the crimes that are happening in the UK, or in England in particular. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of this decision? Do you think there should be a change to the law? Do you think the police are asking for too much power? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button, share this across social media, and subscribe for more content. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.